Okay, so we are preparing to be going live through our Facebook group as well. So we have lots and lots of people joining today. And today's session is going to be really interactive in terms of you guys ask questions. So we are streaming live through Zoom. We are streaming live through Facebook. Now, so far, so good. Everyone can hear me perfectly, and we are really happy to be sharing this masterclass because this actual strategy is something that I started, and for any of you guys who have got my book, Dynamic Digital Marketing, nice little plug in there, you will see that this is one of the strategies. I mean, obviously we go into it a lot more detail in the book, but this is something that I've used on LinkedIn myself. So today is about LinkedIn. It's about your goals. It's about you getting ultimately more profile views, getting people to find you in the searches so that your content and your profile is serving you while you sleep, and you don't have to be doing lots and lots of, searching, spending loads of time on LinkedIn yourself. And we're going to be looking at how to get engagement through your posts, how to really position yourself and make sure that you're seen as the expert and the go-to person for what you actually do. So for you guys who've just joined, if you can put in the chat a little yes to say that you can hear me and see me. And next tech thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to swap onto the slide deck and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So bear with me 1 second. So far our tech is going swimmingly well. So here we go. So you'll be able to see me during the session, and also you'll be able to see the slide deck. Now, this is super helpful because we want this to be interactive as possible, and I can swap between the two. So if you guys are ready, just give me a quick yes to tell me that you can hear me and see me. And as I say, the chat area, I will be literally checking on the chat all of the time to make sure that I am answering your questions as we go. Now, for you guys who've been on the 5-day challenge, well done. I am super impressed at what you've actually managed to achieve. Bearing in mind, we're on still like day 4. Now, anyone who has not heard of the challenge before, don't worry, you can still access the content and the tasks within it. And today I'm going to be doing a deep dive of what we're going to be doing on the challenge. So if, for instance, you've joined the challenge and you've fallen slightly behind, it doesn't matter, because I'm going to try and scoop up and give you a summary of what we've been doing. So for you guys who I've not met before, my name is Dawn McGrewer. I literally have worked in marketing and digital marketing since the internet began. I've been using LinkedIn heavily, and I use it absolutely every single day, and really passionate about the fact that LinkedIn is seen as a very powerful network, but in all honesty, and I'm with you on this one, you may find that the navigation is a bit clunky. So it doesn't lend itself to users who are using LinkedIn because it doesn't have this kind of like clear sort of way or route of actually using it. So you can go into LinkedIn and lose like 20 minutes of your life, and not really achieved anything. So what I want to do today is really kind of bring together tactics that you can implement day to day that gives you with that structure. So instead of going to your social media and thinking about LinkedIn, or maybe procrastinating because you're not quite sure, then you can use some of these implementable tactics and tips that I share, and you can use them straight away. Today's session is about quick wins. It's about making sure that you are getting, some really good successes out of your social media efforts when it comes to LinkedIn. Now, I've written an article recently on Forbes all about making the most of LinkedIn, because we've seen a huge shift. Like literally so many people have started using LinkedIn. And the great news is that this particular year in 2020, so many people want this to be a network that is really sort of on their radar. Many of you have used LinkedIn in the past, and some of you are more sort of inclined to be using things like, Facebook. But if you don't know where kind of LinkedIn came from, you may remember that LinkedIn kind of came out, it was very like careers orientated. It was a very much kind of like put your resume on, and it was great for finding jobs and so on. This lovely guy, Reed Garrett Hoffman, was one of the guys involved in the founding of LinkedIn. And he did it from his living room. And in his first year, literally got 4,500 members, and kind of felt like, you know, should I continue? You know, it's a bit of a hard slog. So, you know, if any of you are using LinkedIn yourselves and you're thinking, you know, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, and, you know, shall I persevere? Even in your business, you know, you might be having a bit of a dark day, or you're not quite sure the direction to, you know, you want to go on, and you have that kind of doubt. Well, don't worry, because look what Reed Hoffman managed to do. He actually continued and sold out to Microsoft in 2016 for 26 billion in cash. So there's hope for us all yet. Now, in all seriousness, when we look at LinkedIn, what I really want to do is address some of the controversy about it. Now, some of you will have heard that the way that I use LinkedIn is I like to kind of disrupt. I like to stand out a little bit, because we are saturated with content, and maybe not as much as Facebook, but there's a hell of a lot going on LinkedIn. And you know what? Some of it is just plain boring. Like literally, I go through and I'm seeing some of the content on LinkedIn, and I just wonder how many people even engage in it. So I go and have a look at the views. And the sad thing is that a lot of people are just kind of creating content, spending hours and hours doing this content, and it's not being consumed. Why? Because there's too much of it. You don't want to be a content bore, as I said. You know, for me, it's about standing out from the crowd, being a little bit different. And one of the myths I really want to kind of just handle head on, first of all, before we go even further, is you don't need to be spending a huge amount of time on LinkedIn to get big results. So, you know, honestly, I am testimony to what I say, and all of the training that I give, you know, I am doing that. I am not sitting, spending, you know, hours and hours writing huge amounts of articles every single day. I saw somebody on LinkedIn the other day saying, you know, you have to create an article every day on LinkedIn to stand out. I haven't. And, you know, already this week I'm trending across marketing, I'm trending across social media as topics. You know, that's globally across LinkedIn. And I haven't once written an article. Now, I'm not saying don't write them, but it doesn't have to be a drain on resource. You know, we're about working smarter here, not harder, and we want to get results. So as with anything, you know, it's a series of tactics that, you know, that you apply day to day. But with social media, what happens is when people dive in to do the social media, often you kind of reserve an hour for it. Now, that's never going to happen. You know, trying to take an hour out of your day is near impossible, because many of you, social media is part of your role. It isn't your entire role. Now, for me, I just like to kind of dip in morning, noon, and night. And it's about having a structure so that the time you do spend there is actually having an impact on your business. So one of the big shares that I want to give you today is the fact that you don't have to spend a load of time on LinkedIn. You know, I'm literally generating, you know, business, you know, 80% of my business from LinkedIn, and I'm spending like 10 minutes a day. You know, so if you ever doubt anything I say, or you just want to go and sense check it, have a look at my profile. I'm completely transparent. Everything I do day to day is on that profile. So first things first, guys, I want you to make sure that you've got your calendar setting so that you can have some alert that tells you to do it morning, noon, and night. Now, the reason for that is that we don't want you to look like you've had some sort of social media frenzy at 11 o'clock every day. You know, try and space it out. And one of the questions that's just come in is that, do I need to post every time I go into LinkedIn? So if you're using your app, for instance, you go in on your phone and you go in morning, noon, and night. No, you do not have to post every single time. What I'm looking for here is a conscious, I'm in LinkedIn, interact. Yeah. So activity is everything. You know, every time you do something on LinkedIn, LinkedIn is judging you, and it's looking at how savvy a social networker you are. Now, keywords are a big part of appearing in searches. So if you're looking at things like stats and you're thinking, what on earth does it mean, you know, when someone is, you know, I appeared in 900 searches this week? Well, it's because people use LinkedIn in a way that they go onto LinkedIn, they might type in something they're looking for. So if somebody wanted somebody to do, sales, or they wanted training, they would go and search for it because they wouldn't know necessarily the person to do it. So you have to make sure that you're utilizing that, because in your headline, if it's not click worthy, number one, people won't accept your connection requests. But number two, if you don't make sure your keywords are in there, you won't appear in searches. So it's all very nice having this fluffy, beautiful, emotional headline, but you know what? You need a keyword in it, because you don't want to be doing all the work. As I said, this is about really working smarter, not harder. So stats, what do you want? Well, ultimately, if you want to be showcasing yourself on LinkedIn, you need to be having profile views every single day so that people are looking at your profile. What does that mean? It means you've got to have your profile fully done. That's you showcasing. It's your stall. It's where you've set yourself out. It's like your website about you and the business that you work for. So having things like missing imagery, no photo, or having your wedding photos on there is probably not the best thing. You want a nice professional shot. You want your profile done. Appearing in searches, you need to have your keywords in your headline and also in your profile. Now, with clients I work with, I spend about an hour getting the profile right, because do you know what? If you get the foundation right, you appear in searches. Now, literally, I tweak my profile maybe once a month, 30, 60, 90 days. And I'm consciously and proactively looking to make sure that I'm not just appearing in searches, but I'm number one in the search. Yeah. So there's different things that you want to appear for, and you need to make sure that your content, like your profile, is serving you. So you appear in searches, and also that you've got this click-worthy headline so that when you ask people to connect, they do so. So let's imagine you are posting content. One of the questions that's come in is that people might go and visit your profile, but they don't necessarily do anything. Well, the biggest reason for that is that when you've written your profile, your point of view or your reasoning behind what you've included in there is maybe not selling yourself to actually achieve the objective. And what I mean here is that, do you see it as this vast network? So is LinkedIn this like powerful tool where it's huge opportunity and you can generate leads? Or is it where like resumes go to die? If your LinkedIn profile has got, really outdated stuff on it, it's not going to position you of where you want to be. And to be honest, even a year ago, what's on there might not be current to what you're doing now and what your focus is. So you have to be in it to win it, guys. And logging in once a week on LinkedIn is not going to get you the results you want. So my request today is that you commit to getting the app on your phone. And you guys who've done the challenge have already done this, and I'm super proud of what you've achieved so far. But on your phone, when you're going through the app, as I say, morning, noon, and night. Now, what I want to do today is kind of give you this checklist so that you can take what I'm giving you and implement it and use it within your business. Now, any questions, please ask, and I'll try and cover them as I'm going through. But biggest question I get asked on LinkedIn is, Dawn, you've got 27,000 direct connections and about the same in followers. That's massive. I didn't wake up one day and suddenly manage to get to that. So I've been using LinkedIn since 2002. In all honesty, I puddled around with it for the first couple of years and I really didn't like it. I found the navigation really clunky. I didn't really get it, if I'm honest. I didn't really understand what it was for. And I don't think LinkedIn really did themselves. Especially then when it started to become more Facebooky, and then there was a real kind of like, disconnect, because people didn't understand what the opportunities were and what you could do with it. Now, loads of you guys, I've had a look at your profiles for you guys who've actually signed up for the webinar. And I'm quite impressed that most of you have got at least some sort of visibility on LinkedIn. Some of you are actually utilizing LinkedIn day to day, or that's probably a smaller section, but some of you are using it obviously fairly frequently. So if I want to stay at the top, in the top 1%, yes, there is work to be done. And I want to be seen in LinkedIn's eyes as a social networker. So I want to proactively grow my network, but I need to contribute to meaningful conversations and interacting with others, as well as posting sort of content that I feel will add value. what this is about is that a common pitfall on LinkedIn is that you log in and you become a LinkedIn either voyeur, so you're just kind of scrolling through content. You're not commenting, you're not liking, and you're not engaging at all. So you have to contribute. Now, a stat that I read, and I don't honestly know how true this is, but it's something that's kind of stuck with me. And I think it's a good thing to hold on to. It was, if you don't interact in your social media and you just become this voyeur who's absorbing content and not participating, it will take you 2 years longer to catch up with a competitor who is. Now, that's kind of shocking. So even if that is vaguely true, you know, that's a very good reason to start interacting. Now, with LinkedIn, for some reason, people are a bit scared. I can normally get them to like something, and I can normally get them to even share it and even put their own slant on it. Yeah, which is great because you're claiming it as your own content and you're getting all the glory. All the common likes and shares go to you. And it's another great way of not having to create your own content. But the bit I struggle with, the bit I really, really, really try hard with new clients to do is get them commenting straight away. Why? Because it's so powerful. It means so much. If you like something, it doesn't open up the same conversation. If you share something, yes, you're getting the glory from it, but a comment, it is so powerful. I can't tell you how much, because as soon as you comment, what happens? There is that option then to make this a two-way process. So I focus on building rapport and relationships and becoming a thought leader in my industry rather than selling. Now, if you think about how you use LinkedIn, you know, if you are going on and touting sales, that's not the right thing. And one thing that I would please urge, I just got another one today, this morning, that really kind of grated on me. Somebody came on, sent me a connection request, and I went and had a look at the profile and I thought, yeah, great. You've got a picture on there. You filled it in. Yeah, fine. I mean, I'm not looking at people as in, are you my ideal client? But I'm looking at the fact that maybe in their network, you know, they have people that are, or they can introduce me to things and so on and so on. So how does it work? Well, if you think about it, then the next step, the logical step, once I've connected, is that they've looked at my profile and so on. Please don't ask me questions like, why did I connect? Because it's just plain boring. I haven't got time to answer that, nor does anyone else. That's why no one replies. Yeah. And don't send these awful emails trying to sell to people going, hi, I'm Rod, you know, would you like some SEO? I'm based in India and I do this. Oh, you know, there is nothing worse. It's like rocking up at a meeting, handing someone a proposal before you've even chatted to them. You know nothing about that person, and it's not going to change your world. It's not going to work, and it's not an effective strategy. So what is? Well, there's 3 things I like to focus on. Keeps me super clear about what my higher goal is. You need to be thinking about why you guys are using LinkedIn and what you really want to get from it, because it's totally possible. There's no client in no niche that I've ever worked with that I haven't managed to get them generating clients and turning connections into paying customers, because it's about presence, positioning, and proposition. Yeah. Now, what have I done and what is possible? Well, I'm generating about 80% of my leads through LinkedIn. Definitely generated over $1 million in revenue for sure, if not more. I got loads of speaking opportunities, paid speaking gigs. A huge thing here is social proof. So even for my clients who are looking to work with me or anyone looking to do a training course, what's the first thing they're going to look at? My LinkedIn profile. So I absolutely stand by the fact that I practice what I preach, and you know, I'm sort of testimony to all of my training tactics, because that's what I'm doing. The difference is for me is that I'm using LinkedIn day to day as a business who's using it to grow my business. I'm not teaching theory, and I'm looking at all of the changes of LinkedIn every single day. Yeah. So I'm looking at what changes in the algorithm, forgetting the word algorithm and turning that into, you know, normal person speak, and delivering that to my clients. Now, contributed to my book deal. So I got a book deal for you guys who've not seen my book already, another shameless plug, Dynamic Digital Marketing. Now, in all seriousness, I wrote my proposal in September 2018, sent it off to one publisher, and then once I'd done that, I didn't hear anything literally for months. And I just kind of thought, well, I've done my best. I'll try again later. Now, the irony was they actually went into Wiley's spam folder, who kindly came back to me in the April 2019 and said, do you still want a book deal? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much. Now, I know for a fact, because this is something they said, that one of the massive contributing factors to me actually getting that deal and getting my book published was my social network. So, you know, your clients will judge you on it, but it will also give you massive opportunity. If you get a good network out there, you know, literally, I mean, I get invited to speak on stages all around the world. I got my book deal. There's opportunities that come to me that I don't even think I've even thought about. Yeah, because other people are seeing me now. So it's about being visible. Now, if you are using LinkedIn, one thing that I want you to kind of make a conscious change about is thinking about what you want and make your goals inspiring. You know, quite often someone will say, well, I just want to generate leads, but how much leads? You know, like, do you want to get 2 new clients a month? You know, what is it that you want to be using LinkedIn for? So on to my 7-step strategy. Now, please, guys, feel free to chat, ask questions. If any of this resonates with you and you're thinking, do you know what you've just said? Yeah, give me a comment. If there's anything that you want me to specifically talk about, please, again, let me know. If there's a question that you've just got and you suddenly just thought of it, pop it in, and as I say, I will cover it when I can. Now, there's questions that are coming through, so I'm going to make sure that I have got this live and that we are literally covering as much as we can. So here we go. Okay, so in the live session, let's see what we've got. Okay, one of the questions that's just come in is, if I'm using LinkedIn, yeah, and I am utilizing it as one of my key networks, would I post every single day? Yes, absolutely, I would post every single day. I think one of the things you've got to think about is that you've got to be in it to win it. So if, for instance, you are utilizing, say, Facebook, you're using Twitter, can you post the same things? Well, you can, but you want to be thinking about the message on the particular network. So things that I share on LinkedIn tend to be very specific about it. Now, one of the questions that's just come in as well is, should I use a third-party scheduling tool? Personally, I'm not a lover of it because, you know, as much as these networks like Hootsuite and Buffer and that say that your reach is not diminished in any way, shape or form, I just find it is. I find that when I use the native tools on a social network, so the things that were intended, even on Facebook, it works 10 times better. So I sort of look at it in the fact that when I'm testing the two and I'm getting a 73% drop in reach, I'm not really willing to make that risk. And also, I just feel that when you go onto LinkedIn and you post your content and you've got your goal and your objective in mind of what you want that network to do for you, you speak differently, you do it differently. And I am not a lover of scheduling content. Yes, sometimes we have to do it, and, you know, and that's fine. But to be honest, dynamic content tends to get 10 times more engagement. And that's kind of why I just kind of build LinkedIn to my daily strategy, and I'm posting stuff every day. So one thing that is valuable is getting your mindset into the right place with LinkedIn. So if you look at your LinkedIn feed and you just literally are thinking, what do I do now? You know, what is the next step? Well, go onto your phone and open up your LinkedIn app, and you will have your news feed in front of you. Now, if you think about your news feed as a networking event, then that is the right mentality, because it makes you start thinking about the people who are posting as real life human beings. And I want you to imagine that every time you scroll, that you need to actually participate. Now, you know, think of it like having a random act of kindness every day. Don't just scroll through, absorb someone's content and move on. Actually tell them that you liked it by commenting, not just always pressing the automatic like. Yeah. you need to stand out, you know. And if you think about it, when you go to a networking event, you wouldn't stand in the corner, you know, with your back to everyone, because that's just antisocial. Number two, you wouldn't walk into the room and just shout, and that's like one-way posting on LinkedIn. You want to be able to go up to people and have human conversations, and don't be a content bore where, you know, you're just trying to sell to people, tell people about you, what you do in a business. The conversation should be about them, you know, and it should be free flowing, and you should be able to share and build relationships and have humanistic feel. So it's not just about business, you know. As yes, it's a corporate network, but you need to show some of your personality too. You can't just be a faceless brand. You need to stand out from there, choose a figurehead for your network, and use LinkedIn like it was intended. So consistency is everything. But the other thing that I'm just by looking at some of the profiles, many of you are creating a lot of hard work for yourselves. And this is probably the biggest takeaway from today. So as much as I'm talking about posting daily, that is great. But please be a person and post from a profile, right? LinkedIn, many years ago and still today, are still campaigning to get people to use LinkedIn properly. It's their own fault because they don't make it clear. It's not our fault. But what they want us to do, and what the stats say, is that if we pick a figurehead, an individual, a person, a leader in your industry or business that you're going to showcase every day, who is that thought leader, that expert in the field, that should be the person who the content is coming from. Because people talk to people and people buy people. If that person writes an article on LinkedIn, of course it comes from a person. It's thought leadership. If you are just trying to post from your company page, which LinkedIn says, please don't do, don't front your LinkedIn strategy with your company page. They're saying that businesses that do it the right way, which is pick a figure leader or figurehead or leader, and use that profile to generate the content of which then, yes, you can share onto your company page, then you'll be 3 times more successful than your competitor. That's massive. Now, there's loads of questions. I love a bit of controversy coming through about, oh, wow, should I be doing this? Yeah, absolutely. You know, the reason I'm kind of sharing this with you is that when you are using LinkedIn, if you go off and you, from today, and you decide that you're just going to post from your company page, it's going to be the hardest slog ever. Because what happens when you use LinkedIn? Well, the normal human behavior is that you pick up, say, your phone, go into LinkedIn, go on your desktop. Watch what you do. You do not go searching for businesses. The people that you're connecting with and the connection requests you're getting are from people. So this tells you something very, very clear in terms of how LinkedIn want you to use it. You want to be building connections with a person and connect with existing contacts. That's the first thing that you can do today to make a difference, is start connecting with people. Now, let's have a look and see what questions that we've got. Is it okay to have more than one figurehead for the company? Absolutely, yeah. So, for instance, we work with a lot of large corporate organizations as much as we do small. And quite often they might have different divisions within the business, different key specialist areas, and they have a figurehead for that person. Now, if you've got that, it doesn't mean that you can just have one. You can pick a couple of key leaders and you're positioning your content out to the people who are interested in each of those thought leaders' content, and then you can put it all onto the company page. That's absolutely fine. Hi, Dawn, great content. I'm finding this really useful. Amazing. I'm loving that feedback. Quick question, do you need a company profile? And if so, why? Yeah, always have one, because as much as I don't really care about our company profile, the thing is people will type in business consort as much as they'll type in Dawn McGrewer. So as much as I'm the figurehead and founder, you know, people will know our academy and they'll know the business name. So, you know, if they find the company, then they'll find the people in the business, and then, you know, vice versa. So it is important to have, from a branding point of view, absolutely both. And then you lead from the profile, and then obviously you can share that onto the company page. Now, if you want to look at what we do, have a look at my profile, because you'll see how we take our content and how you share it. Again, have a look at other organizations. You'll see this is so true with people like Richard Branson and Virgin Media. You know, as much as I'm sure he doesn't write all of his own content, he is the figurehead and he's the leader. Okay, so a couple of other questions before I move on. Is there a way of finding out how often you're being searched for? Okay, so when you go onto LinkedIn and you look at your profile, you'll see in the middle that you've got stats. Now, just to tell you a little bit about what those stats mean and how important they are, the first one is obviously you'll be quite concerned about knowing how many contacts you've actually got. So you can find that in your My Network area. Now, obviously, once you get to about 500 direct connections, LinkedIn gives you a little badge to say, great, okay, you've got that far. You do instantly become a bit more visible at that point, and you'll find that you actually appear in more searches. Going back onto your profile, you'll have a stat that says, you know, how many times have you appeared in search? And that is basically when someone's typed something into LinkedIn, did your profile appear? Now, absolutely, if you want someone to be typing something in and you want to be at the top of that list, then you need to make sure that you're positioned accordingly. And using keywords in things like your headline and your profile will help do that. So I've been guilty of asking what resonated with people. Okay, fine. This is kind of another thing you can do when you look at stats. Okay, on your stats, you'll also see how many profile views that you've had. So literally one of the key sort of consumer behaviors that you're looking for is how many profile views. Why? Well, if you're scrolling through your news feed, one of the biggest things that I do, obviously I'm reading along and then I think, oh, I look at the headline and that, oh, I think that's interesting. That headline, that click-worthy headline makes me click and view that profile and I might connect with that person. So generally it's the content that's pulling me into the profile. So this is why posting is so important. This is why search is important, because your profile is like your hub. Yeah. And the more profile views, the more visibility you've got, the more online presence and the more brand awareness you're going to get. So someone said here, what is a pillar? What is a pillar content? Is this something you use on LinkedIn? Okay. So content on LinkedIn, if you're looking at different types of content, for instance, one of the staple pieces of content you'll see on LinkedIn is that people put a post out that can have text on it, and it can also have an image. You can also write an article. An article is a bit like having a blog. Instead of housing it on your website, you create it and write it on LinkedIn. Another great question here about that is, should I also just replicate what's on my website? I personally would say no. I think write for the channel, create an article for it. Go and have a look at, I've got an article on there at the moment all about the challenges that business owners and CEOs face for 2020 and how to overcome them. You can see how it's structured. You can see the different sort of hyperlinks and things and what it looks like if you've never done an article before. Now, any thoughts on typical types of content that a local authority should really be posting? So you've got to think about your demographic. So when we're thinking about connecting and posting, think about who it is that you're trying to attract and the reason you're trying to create content. Now, if you are there as an authority where you want to share and be an information leader, then things like articles are a great way of doing that. Putting on things like PDFs, again, a really informative way of doing that. If, for instance, you want just to build awareness, then you can do things like putting a post on. You can do things like a free webinar. You can invite people to free events and things like that. People do not mind if it's specific to them, if you're inviting them to something and it's of interest to them. What they don't like is being sold to on things like LinkedIn. The reason for that is that when people are browsing, you imagine that your post is disruptive to their kind of day-to-day and their consumption. Well, what that means is that when they're scrolling through, you'll grab their attention, first of all, to stop. And then obviously when they're consuming that post, they'll be thinking about what was of interest. The biggest thing that's going to resonate with that person is something that really resonates to that person's pains and challenges. Yeah. So when you think about where your positioning is and you think about how you appear, then LinkedIn is judging you. Okay, so they do have a thing called a social selling index, and this is basically how they look at you. So in short, to give you an overview of what that is, when you're on LinkedIn, what we're striving to do day to day is make sure that you are, number one, logging in every day. And think about it like LinkedIn are judging you on how savvy a social networker you are. Okay. So how savvy are you? Well, it means that, for instance, if you don't log in and you, for instance, dip in every Tuesday, you'll go to the bottom of that list. So LinkedIn is trying to kind of rank you a bit like on Google in terms of, you know, how do you appear? How social are you? So you get a gold star for logging in. You get a gold star for posting. You get a gold star for interacting, so commenting, liking, sharing. You get a gold star for every time that you build your audience, so get a new connection. You get a gold star for if you interact and follow another company, that's fine, but make sure that that's not your center stage and that you're always trying to do something in addition to that, which is build your own contacts. I'm just going to take a couple more questions before I move on to the next one. Now, this is a really key question because someone has just asked me at a very timely point about posting and what your posts should look like. Okay, so imagine on LinkedIn, you're posting and you're not getting any engagement. Well, quite honestly, some of the reasoning behind that could be that your content is plain boring. It could be that it's something that people want to consume and there's too much of it. So what we're looking for is quick consumption. And by quick consumption, what I mean here is that something that we can look at on the go. You've got to imagine that when people are using LinkedIn, they're like walking down the street, they're, you know, maybe on a train. They're not always, you know, just stationary in front of the desktop. So the good news is we don't have to spend a huge amount of time creating gallons and gallons of content, you know, for our users, you know, and our audience. I want to show you a collection of content because I always feel that when you can see something, you know, it resonates more. So I can talk all day long about, you know, what does a post look like on LinkedIn and, you know, how should it be constructed. But you can go and look at these actually in situ on my profile. Now, the posts on my LinkedIn, these are all the sort of most recent posts that I have put on that have had in excess of 4,500 views per post. Now, the one you can see in the top right here, and I will take more of your questions as we go through this, is you can see a little picture of me. Now, all that is I put a post on about the day I signed my book contract. And one of the reasons that this will have got so much views is that people love to celebrate your success. So accolade marketing and posting about things that you can celebrate for the business and your achievements, people love. So often people think, well, you know, it's bragging. You know, it's not bragging. It's basically keeping yourself on the radar. It's PR. Yeah. So you don't feel embarrassed if you put a press release out about a new thing that your business did. So don't feel embarrassed about showcasing client wins. Don't feel embarrassed about sharing your own accolades. Yeah. Now, question that's come through here is that how often should I be sharing accolades about posting? You can post literally like as a weekly sort of schedule, right? So I would always put like a little reminder in your diary so that you're kind of consciously thinking that, you know, maybe once a week you share a win, you know, on LinkedIn. One of the posts here was, wow, can't believe you got 4,500 views. I do consistently get around about that level. And someone said, do I pay for that post level? Okay, so I am not paying for 4,500 views. One of the questions here was, you know, if you're getting 4,500 views, are you using advertising? No, I absolutely am not using advertising. This is all organic. Yeah, so you can go onto my profile and you can actually flick through and you can see it's not a sponsored post or anything like that. What you will see, for instance, is that the types of posts that I put on are quite a mix, okay? So a mix of media is really crucial, and not just kind of falling into the trap of like sell, sell, sell. One of the questions that's just come through here is, can I sell things? You can, but I prefer to position what you do as a leader through sharing your views and adding value, okay, rather than just out and out selling. Inviting people to free things is fine because it's a nice way of engaging. So, you know, you could host a masterclass or something like that, and then obviously you can sell on those events. You could do seeding. Now, seeding is basically when you do a post, for instance, about what you do. Now, this one here is kind of a cross between two. Last week, I got shortlisted for the Business Book Award. So of course, I'm going to share that on social media. That's a big win for me. Very proud of it. And, you know, and lots of people will celebrate that success too. But it's also obviously, you know, seeding the fact that I wrote a book through my own accolade by being shortlisted. This one here, this is something that relates to this particular masterclass. I always like to share things that you can kind of understand and see. Now, this one is me just basically asking people on LinkedIn, would you like free training? And you'll notice that one of the people that I actually tagged and mentioned in this post was LinkedIn themselves. Now, this post got 4,544 views. It's still getting views day to day. 44 comments, 22 likes, and it's still working for me. Now, the great news is on LinkedIn is that when you post content, it's got far more durability than any other social network. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if you imagine that you are on say Facebook, and you put something out, the actual lifespan that you have is a lot shorter. So for me, LinkedIn is a great place to be putting things like content like video, because when I post videos, you'll see that I do a video each and every day. And that is my sort of main pillar of content that I am using. The reason for that is that me being the expert in my own field means that my team don't have to create anything. Words can come out my mouth. And I'm sure, as you know, I can speak a lot of words in a minute. These are short, consumable videos, generally with sort of like 3 observations or 3 tips that are branded. They have captions and they get massive, massive engagement and massive views. The reason for this is twofold. Number 1, the branding makes them stand out. Number 2, the captions mean that people will watch it without the sound being on. Number 3, they're quick consumable. But number 4, they really stand out because they are edited and filmed in a slightly different manner. So rather than just 2 camera, we use a style of editing that makes it jump. Now, the reasoning for that is very specific. It's not just to annoy people, but it's to, number 1, capture people's attention, make them stop on the feed, consume the content. But even more importantly, every 3 seconds, we're resetting your mind. So we're stopping you kind of going into the content trance. And it keeps your attention. Now, this is working particularly well for me as a strategy and for my clients, because this type of content, we create our videos in less than 10 minutes. Brand them, caption them, post them. That's it. So we like to do stuff that is quick, easy, but has big impact, right? We use free tools to do this. And this is something that I teach day in, day out. It's probably the biggest question I get asked. How do I create my videos? And how well do they work? Well, question that's just come through on the chat is, how well do they work? Well, the videos you'll see on just for this week, the one that came out on Monday is currently trending in marketing. So the topic of marketing across the whole of LinkedIn. So that's massive exposure. So that means that anyone who is following the topic of marketing can see my post, right? So I'm not just reaching the people I'm connected with, right? Then I've got another one that's trending in social media. I've got one that's trending in business. So my content is just serving me. So when people say, for instance, I've got about 42 questions on here about attracting your ideal clients, that's how I do it. The majority of people who come to me and they ask me, how do I attract an ideal client? I don't sit on LinkedIn searching for people and thinking, oh, that person works in that and they're age this and whatever. For me, that's a very static demographic. I want to be absolutely getting myself in front of people who are at a point that I've triggered and resonated with them and that they're ready to work with me. Okay. I want to stand out. I want people to know me as a brand, and I want people to know me for what I do. Now, the majority of people on LinkedIn will know that. So what happens is that when you're trying to attract your ideal client, every time I'm doing content, I'm trying to relate to my ideal client. I'm trying to bring them in. Yeah. So if you try and market to people on a static demographic, it's like someone visiting your website and just browsing and you're trying to sell to them. It's too soon. It's invasive, and it's never going to be the right strategy. How often do I use hashtags? Some posts I see have, some posts don't. And some posts hashtag nearly every word. With me for hashtags, you can literally shorten or reduce your reach with hashtags if you go a bit hashtag crazy and do hashtag vomit onto your post. What you want to be doing is you want to be having a nice balance. Use a hashtag when it is needed. So if you're talking about something for a particular topic, then you would use a hashtag to categorize it for that topic. So if I'm talking about social media, the hashtag I would use, hashtag social media. Okay, what content is most effective? Video all day long. Doesn't mean to say that, you know, that one just with a photo. Photos over graphics, 100%. People love people. We just like to watch it, people's lives, and see what it, you know, they look like, and we're getting to know someone's personality, really. So it's a whole showcase of the people within a brand, and it can't just be faceless corporate identities. Is there an optimum amount of hashtags? Kind of cover that. This is very good and interesting stuff. Thank you. Will you send the presentation to us? Oh yeah, you can rerun, you can replay, and you can watch it as many times as you like. I love the fact that you're going to watch this again. How often? Okay, so I've covered that one about hashtags. Okay, so I've got a couple on here. What do you mean by keywords? So a keyword is basically, if you imagine, when somebody is searching for you, they will type in a keyword. So for instance, what would I want someone to type in? Well, the word digital marketing means a lot to me. So if someone was searching for like a digital marketing agency or something like that, or consultant, they might type in different words. So a keyword is just basically, think of it like associating you for what you want to be found for, and think of it like Google, basically. Someone's apologizing for being late. Don't worry, I don't mind. Does it help the company credibility to have posts coming from them sometimes? Yeah, exactly. That's fine. You know, things like a press release that can come from a company. So you'll see this week that there's a press release coming out on LinkedIn, which is all about me being shortlisted, and that'll come out on the company page. That's fine. Do you also need a company website? Yes, websites are quite different. You know, if you think about it, LinkedIn is behind a username and password, and not everybody in the world yet is using LinkedIn. If you want to be found in Google, then, you know, you want to have obviously your website. I hate doing videos. Well, a lot of people do, but you know what? Some of you who are watching have been on my courses, and you've done my Go Live and Love It section. And once you've done your first live, then you'll find that once you realize you didn't die and nothing detrimental happened to you, it's okay. So quite often, so if I get people who don't like doing lives, I'll do them with them. So you'll see on my profile that some of my LinkedIn clients will do a live together, because when you're with someone, it just feels like you're supported. You kind of get through that, and it's structured. You can interview someone, and it's nice, you know, you feel not alone. Yeah. So, you know, you've got to kind of think that, you know, 80% of online traffic is to video. So, you know, what would you want to be doing? You know, the video has to be part of your strategy in 2020. I think I've answered everything on there. So I'm going to move on to my next bit. So interacting with others. So this is number 5. This is about when you log in morning, noon, night, having a really, really positive attitude to looking at your news feed, stepping forward and commenting, liking and sharing. Remember, when you share content, you must put your own slant on it. Yeah. So this is not just, you know, you sharing someone else's. If I saw something I liked and I shared it, I might say, oh, this is really interesting. I particularly like the bit about this, or I pulled out a stat or something like that, and share it. And then, you know, the great thing is there that when people procrastinate and say, oh, Dawn, I didn't do anything on LinkedIn today, I didn't have anything to post. Number one, you should be brimming with things to post. And number two, you know, if you share something, then you're claiming all the glory and you're getting all the comment, likes and shares. So in LinkedIn's eyes, and also in your network's eyes, you've showed up, you've posted something, the world is a good place. But you must show the love to others. You know, don't be one of these mindless scrollers. Stop. Think about, you know, I read that, so I'm going to tell someone I did, you know, and I'm going to give some feedback. This will give the ripple effect. If you don't do this, it will not work, right? I guarantee one of the things I teach day in, day out is that when you interact, I developed a strategy about 10 years ago. Some of you may have heard of it. It was Magic 10. And basically, it's a strategy that I used to get clients saying to me, Dawn, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to post, you know. So I had to come up with something that was like 10 minutes, easy to do, and basically meant that there was a guaranteed double your network, and also a guaranteed double your engagement. Yeah. So interacting with others, honestly, I can't emphasize how important that is. So activity is absolutely everything. Okay. Now, feel free to ask any questions as we go. But this one here, yeah, it's all about stopping searching and stopping selling. I went onto LinkedIn this morning, and one of the sad things I saw is that a company, a brand that I actually really quite liked, that is quite new, they just, all the posts that they were posting on LinkedIn was just sell, sell, sell. And some of you will have heard my analogy that, like, you know, you wouldn't walk up to a perfect stranger in a networking event and sell to them, right? But, you know, if you absorb someone's content and you're looking at it and you don't know that brand, you don't know that person, you know, selling is too soon. You would not go on a first date with somebody and ask them to marry you, right? Number one, it's weird. Number two, it's just way too soon. Yeah. Think about what you like actually engaging in. Not one of the people that I work with, or any of you guys in the challenge, or anyone today, I would imagine loves being sold to. It only becomes relevant to us when it's the right time, or you've resonated with a pain or a challenge that we're struggling with. So when you hit me with content and I'm reading it, I'm like, that is me, that is where I'm at. And then you story tell, and I'm like, I'm in. That's when I'm going to reach out and get in touch with you. I am not going to respond to a let's connect, let's meet for coffee, because, like, let's be, you know, honest here. Who has got time to meet 9 million people on LinkedIn for coffee? You know, that comes after, when, you know, there's a lead or something like that's actually happening. You can't just meet everybody. You know, I've got 27,000 connections. I've not met all of them. And to be fair, I don't want to go out and meet all of them. I'm quite happy building a relationship with people, but making a deeper connection. Now, this is the key. So small, steady steps make for sustained results. So what does this mean? Well, if you think about your stats, and this is something you can go away, look at today and do, right? Make sure you understand where you're appearing in searches for, how many profile views you've got, and how many post views. Now, someone's just asked a question saying, I had 800 post reviews once on a post. And then someone has just said, well, I've now got 0. Okay, so what happens is that every time you post, it's the new thing that you've put on. So you might go back to 1 if it's just been posted that second, but you'll see it build up. So how do you record that information? Well, I personally just literally every day, our team will take a snapshot for that 24 hours of everything that I post, like a video, and they'll go, right, okay, it got 4,900 views, 92 comments, 76 engagements in terms of interactions, comment likes, likes or whatever. And then we'll look at that again at the end of the month and see, like, where we've gone, because often a video for me, especially if it's trending in a topic, or we're looking at clients and we've managed to get them trending in 6 different categories, that's going to be moving, and so that content will keep serving you. So a video that I posted 14 days ago is still getting me results. Yeah. So that's the power of video. Yeah. For me, you've got to think about also if you're going to be serious about using LinkedIn, don't just kind of think, well, okay, I have to use advertising, because it's very different to Facebook. Facebook, for me, I would say don't be in it unless you're actually paid, prepared to put some paid spend behind it, right? LinkedIn, you can absolutely massively stand out without having to do it. Now, a question I've just had in, which is a really good question about when you are on Facebook, are you using advertising all the time? Yes. And also, do you have to have a paid profile on LinkedIn? Okay. So no, you don't have to have a paid profile on LinkedIn, but an observation I have found is that I have been a premium networker for goodness knows how long. And then when we set up clients or give them premium networking benefits, I'm not really a fan of what that actually brings in terms of functions and features, because you can pretty much do everything on LinkedIn for free. But weirdly, I appear more in searches. So just saying, I would imagine that they're rewarding their members with a bit more visibility. Okay, I don't know that that's fact, so please don't, come telling me that you've spoken to LinkedIn and it's not. But it just seems weird that that seems the case when I turn mine on and off. Someone else has said, can I invite people through a post to join an upcoming webinar? Absolutely. Some of you will have seen in LinkedIn that I was hosting free LinkedIn training. I showed you the post. So the post for me that I put out, remember the one with the picture saying, would you like some free training? Got really good engagement, over 4,500 views. So absolutely, of course you can. Yeah, there are the questions on Zoom too. Yeah, I'm answering the ones on Zoom and I'm answering the ones on here. So I think I'm up to date on questions. Now, let me answer a couple of these in terms of advertising. Okay, so some of you have tried it by the looks of it and some of you haven't. So I just want to give you a snapshot of what LinkedIn advertising does and how it works. Okay. If you are using LinkedIn and you think, okay, I want to be using advertising, what would I use it for? Well, my absolute favorite is that I love the LinkedIn lead gen forms. Now let's see what questions we've got. Okay. Okay, what are your thoughts on external link being put in the main body of the post? If you're writing articles on LinkedIn, yeah, you can absolutely hyperlink out of LinkedIn. That's not a problem. It makes it a little bit more engaging if there's something that's been talked about on there. So we're up to date on questions, so feel free to post anything new and I will happily cover this. Now, these are the ones for LinkedIn advertising. So what type of advertising works the absolute best? Sponsored content for me is a favorite because that means it's appearing in the newsfeed. It kind of looks like business as usual. LinkedIn lead gen forms, which look like this, are great because if you have like a lead magnet and you want people to sign up. So for instance, we have 7 steps for LinkedIn success. We could put this on as a lead gen form. And the difference here is that when someone clicks sign up, what happens? Well, it means that it automatically populates all of that person's information and they don't have to do anything. And then that PDF can come directly to you. So LinkedIn advertising, is it more expensive than Facebook? Yes, indeed, it is. But you know what? I feel the quality on LinkedIn advertising is very good. We've had some massive successes. We've just had a client at the moment that we did like an online masterclass and webinar, a bit like this. And one of the amazing things we did a huge advertising campaign on LinkedIn. Not a huge amount of budget, but we just put lots of different content and messages through, and easily got like 1,000 people onto the webinar. So, it's a really, really good sort of method of lead generation and absolutely getting to the right people because it's uber targeted. Oh, this is a good question that's come through. How selective should you be in accepting unsolicited connection requests? And P.S. This is really helpful. Thank you. Okay, so you're on LinkedIn and someone sends you a connection request. You get the little activity red dot and you go and have a look and you think, I have no idea who this person is and why they're trying to connect to me. So the dilemma is, what should you do? Dead easy. If you think about it, you're on LinkedIn to make new connections. you're on LinkedIn to build up a valuable network that's not just going to be your ideal client, but is going to be people that could ultimately recommend, refer to you. It could be partnerships, affiliations, it could be opportunities. Go and have a look at their profile. If they've got picture and they've completed their profile and they've not got chunks missing and they look like they've been active on LinkedIn, they're posting and they're, you know, a valuable member of the community, why the heck not? Connect with them. You don't have to move in with that person, by the way. You know, you're not asking them around for tea or anything like that. And guess what? If you don't like them, you can remove them and no one will know, not even them. Yeah. So, you know, for me, I certainly have, you know, I don't know all 27,000 people. For the people I do know, and I have the telephone numbers, I have my mobile phone, but that's not what LinkedIn is for me. It's a social network. So if you don't want to connect with people that you don't know, don't use social media. For me, LinkedIn, it's about building connections and just absolutely having a community of like diverse people that do a number of different things, because what does that do? It creates opportunity. Now, I love this question about advertising because this is perfectly aligned to my slide. Okay, so it says, are there different types of advertising on LinkedIn? Yes, loads. And these are 3 of my favorite. I can literally, for a client at the moment who said, right, I want to reach these 250 accounts for this event, seminar that I'm hosting, and I need to get the right contacts. And all we do is upload the list of people and discover the accounts. It's amazing. I mean, literally amazing. So to be able to do targeted advertising like that, I love it. Reach decision makers at the target accounts is something that we have used now for, maybe like the past couple of years. So it's brilliant. Integrating your list of contacts so that you can target people that you're not yet connected with LinkedIn. Yeah, fine, we can do that too. The one that I absolutely love and, you know, I think is a great opportunity for you is that if people are going from LinkedIn, yeah, and they're visiting your website, you can remarket to them. So we use this a lot. This is huge. So you imagine someone's on LinkedIn and they click and maybe they go and visit something on your website or in their profile, and they go and visit your website from there. And it's building a list of those people. So you can retarget. So that is retargeting, but it's targeting now people who have showed an interest. That is powerful, really powerful. So a couple of questions on here. If you get someone to sign up for a lead magnet on lead forms, can you capture the details? Yes, you can for email purposes, but just be aware of GDPR and obviously opting that person in, making sure that they want to receive your marketing communications. Someone said, sadly I have to go, but very handy. Do we have a rerun? Yeah. We will definitely get reruns to people who have specified. Should you set up a new profile when you have a profile for a different role? No, that's just going to be a minefield that you don't want to go down. So please make sure you've got one profile. Make sure that you've got a company page for that specific company. If you've got multiple companies, then that's fine. So if we think about how you can utilize advertising, you can reach a huge amount of people and very targeted sort of view of people. So think about if you wanted to utilize LinkedIn for lead generation, how many people you could connect with. Now, a question that's come in here, how many people can you get through lead generation? Well, generally, if we put an ad out, we might get like 150, 200 signups a day. It's pretty mega, yeah. And then I've got a question here about your headline. So this one here is about making your profile really sell. Someone said, do I have to put a picture on? Yes, LinkedIn profiles with professional headshots get 14 times more profile views and 36 times more messages, yeah? So really important that you do this. I've got another question about where your headline is. And the headline is under your name. So hopefully you can see the screen that I've just brought up here. It's the headline and your photo, okay? So if you think about your headline, if you just had it as your boring kind of, you know, corporate job, then it's not very enticing. It's not very click-worthy. So what we're saying is create a punchy headline that includes your keywords. This is an example of mine. So I help businesses generate more leads, sales, and profit by building strong brands through digital marketing. And you can see my keyword digital marketing really strong. I changed my headline depending on what I'm promoting and what is key for me in terms of business goals. So I always align my content to my business goal. Yeah. So if you see my profile change or my headline, it's because we are moving dynamically with the goals of the business. And everything I do is, I'm posting with purpose. There's a reason behind every post. You can't just have buzz, on social media if you're not generating leads. So a little bit of a summary of kind of what we've covered so far. I'm loving the questions that are coming in. So if you've got any more, please feel free, because I've got a couple of key tips that are really important. Yeah. So I always end with the big hit stuff. Okay. Presence, be consistent, frequent, interaction and activity is key. Posting daily. Positioning, so appearing in search for what you do. Go and have a quick look at where you're at in LinkedIn, yeah? So see where you are in terms of the realms of your competitors. For me, I rank in the number 1 for digital marketing globally. Now, absolutely, that's where I want to be. For me, that is amazing because the visibility I get from that is huge. But also what it does is it gives massive, massive social proof. When someone looks at my profile and they know that I am at the top of my game, then it's going to build trust with that person. Okay. You'll also see that the content that we share, we're adding value all of the time in the videos, quick, consumable. So get your message clear and ensure people know like 100% what you do. Okay. So if you think about it, where is your LinkedIn now? Do you want to kind of like move to this point where your LinkedIn for 2020 is consistently converting connections into clients? Do you want to use LinkedIn as a lead generation tool? Do you want to get big results from your social media efforts? And do you want to spend like hours and hours of writing articles? If you're thinking about utilizing video, it is the most powerful tool on LinkedIn, right? So if you're not already using that, I promise you, you cannot fail with video. So you've got to think about, is that something that you're going to bring into this strategy? So what is your next step? Do you want to increase your influence as an expert in your own field? Now, to give you kind of an indication of the differences of where I was and where I'm at now, being in the top 1% means that pretty much I get found for what I do. I'm the go-to person generally for anything in that ilk. I get a lot of media requests, speaking gigs, paid speaking gigs, obviously, corporate training, anything that I want to do. But also, as I said, it's massive proof for clients, etc. So I'd say, when people look at LinkedIn, it's never anything that I have to I don't have a conversation with someone and have to sell myself to them. They've generally gone and stalked me and had a little look on LinkedIn. So it's important that you get your profile up to speed. Yeah. So think about what it is that you want to be using. Do you want to create viral content? What would it mean if you had content that was trending in, say, marketing across the whole of LinkedIn? That's massive exposure. So you've got to think about where your efforts are now, where you want to be, and what LinkedIn is going to be for you in 2020. Now, you can go and have a look at the link for this. This is our 6-week accelerator program, and you get a 1-day workshop. Now, you can go to Google. We're on page 1 of Google, obviously, but you can type in LinkedIn Masterclass Business Consort and you'll see the details, but also you'll see a link in the group. Now, this for me is going to be the strategy for everybody in 2020, getting your profile out. So when I first started using LinkedIn, the big gap that I had was that I hadn't latched onto the fact that of how important my profile was in terms of serving me. So now my profile brings in 1,000 views consistently of people, and I see it go up and up and up and up the chart. So the more content I put out, that content is pulling people into my profile. My headline is key, but the way that my profile is structured is critical. Now, on the Get Clients course, the 6-week accelerator, I spend 1 hour looking at LinkedIn profiles. Now, in the LinkedIn profile side of things, if you've ever tried to write it and you sit down and do it, the trap that people fall into is they start trying to kind of write a resume. There's a structure, and there's also a way of optimizing it so that you can appear in searches, not just on page 2, not just on page 1 at the bottom, but in the top spot. And that really is where you want to be. So you've got to think, you've got to be in it to win it. If your profile isn't doing that for you, if you're not consistently generating 1,000 views, it's serving you, it's attracting your ideal client, it needs a rewrite. Growing your network. Okay, so I'm just about to hit 30,000 direct connections. Massive for me, massive. Yeah. So I'm actually having to cull people out of my network to make sure that I'm constantly engaged with people who are interactive, because there's no point having anyone in your network who's not using it. But also my network is the most powerful thing, because every single day I am getting referrals from my network. So I'm generating about 80% of leads for my business through LinkedIn. And the reason for that is building deep connections with my network, having a vast network, growing it. Yeah. And this is something that we work on massively in module 2. Now, social selling, question that just came in here. How do I position my business, sell, but without actually overtly selling? Well, it's all to do with seeding, right? So there's a structure that we go through and a template of how to get your visibility for what you do, right? And the key here is when people start telling me back that, oh, someone recommended you, and they say what my headline says, right? This is the critical factor. Or they say, oh, a friend recommended your book, or they recommended this, this, and this. So the clincher is when you get your network actually pushing business in for you. So it's like, you may have heard this analogy from me before, but it's like if I was driving home and I wanted to go for a curry, and I got home, and on my journey, I just driven past this amazing curry house. The hoardings come down and it's just open. It's brand new. I'd say to my partner, I want to go to this restaurant. I've never been before, but it looks amazing, right? That's literally what you're trying to do on LinkedIn. You want to be, obviously not a curry house, but you want to be so visible that people are like, literally, right, go to that person. You want to be known as the go-to person. And that gets you a vast amount of leads and business. Now, module 4 of my 6-week course is about paid advertising. So we just talked about those 3 ways. Now, I've been using advertising since LinkedIn started. So I have absolutely nailed the perfect template of how to put a campaign together. And I share that template with you. Okay. So if you're looking at using advertising, I promise you can waste a lot of cash. You can burn $10 a day quite easily and not achieve anything. We're getting results where we're getting like 150 people in the door for like £50. I mean, that's a huge return on investment. And then in module 5 is, and the question I get asked, and I think I've had about 40 questions about this, about videos. So a lot of people say to me, Dawn, how do you create your videos? How do you get that styling? How do you edit it? What are the free tools and so on? How can I do that for my business? I absolutely teach it in my module 5, creating viral content and videos. And this is the module that contains the go live and love it, because there's a sequence that has to happen on a live so that it's not just generating buzz, but it's actually seeding your sales methodology, right? So what it does is it will increase your profile views, it will build your network, and it will obviously do some social selling, generate some leads, and you can use that as a basis in your paid advertising. So it kind of pulls everything together. You will not see an influencer on LinkedIn that isn't generating content that is a video. Just saying. Now, last one. This is a bit of an irony, and the reason I named my module 6, how to become an influencer, is that so many people go, right, so I've seen you on LinkedIn, Dawn, and I want to have 80% of my leads coming through. I want to have 27,000 connections, and I want to just do what you did, right? So basically, I put my plan together of how I got from A to B, and then I put the fast track mode on it. So took out all my pitfalls and challenges along the way, put it together as a template, and that's what I work with clients on. Now, the LinkedIn course, some of you may know the lovely Shah Wasmond, who's got an MBA. She has been using Facebook for many years, and a lot of you will be connected or will see her as an influencer on that network. Very, very well-connected lady, best-selling author. entrepreneur. Now, you'll have seen maybe, if you do know Shar, you can have a look at her profile, that in the past week, we started working together to get Shar using LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is a key network for her for 2020. She knows the power of it. And once she's mastered, obviously, Facebook, you know, she's absolutely the key person in the world of Facebook. Yeah. She wanted to start utilizing LinkedIn. Now, the results that we've just had, she's been doing the challenge with you guys. Profile views up 573% since last week. So Shar is doing the 6-week accelerator. So you can follow along and see, obviously, her progress as well. For you guys who decide to join me on that, again, we'll all be working together. And the testimonials that we've had, I mean, literally, you can go onto my LinkedIn profile or a website. There's thousands. I mean, literally thousands. We've trained 27,000 people since we started, and I actually can't believe that. It shows how old I am. Hit 40 this year. But for me, LinkedIn, you know, it's such a powerful network. And, you know, if it's something that you really, really want to get fast results, for me, if I want to work on something, I don't want to just kind of go through all the pains, all the challenges. I just want someone to go, this is how you do it. This is how you get from A to B fast. And if you're that kind of person, then definitely the 6-week accelerator is for you, because the 6 online modules are great. But what's the biggest problem with online courses? That, you know, you've got a live Facebook group. It's really interactive. You guys have been on the challenge. You know just how dedicated I am to answering, engaging, giving you some accountability. Yeah. So it's mammoth, right? But the bonus that I'm giving here is a 1-day implementation workshop. Come and work with me. I host all the sessions. I'm not one of these trainers who you don't see when you come on a course. It's me hosting it. Absolutely. And you can choose whether you want to do March, June, or November. So literally you start off, you do your 6 online modules. If you can't come to any of the live sessions, don't panic. We record everything. And then you've got obviously the support and the advice. Biggest thing that I offer on my courses, and you guys who've done them before know that I give feedback, right? So what's the best thing for me? When someone does my course, gives me amazing testimonial and is my case study. It's like Charlotte Wasmond, you know, I'm not working with her so that she doesn't get results. You know, we're in a win-win here. And the bonus day is worth $497. That is free. I'm just putting that in there because on that day, the things I'm going to be covering, that is where I think I can just make the difference. I think you'll get massive wins just within like 1 week on the online. I think within 1 month, it'll be amazing. After 6 weeks, you will have revolutionized your LinkedIn profile. Believe me, if you've done the 5-day challenge, you'll have had wins in the first day. But this day, we're going to do something really special because I'm going to do a one-to-one with each person, because if I don't get the foundations right and I don't get your profile absolutely selling you and in search, I can't absolutely get that ripple effect. I can get you amazing results, but I want to get 10 times amazing. Yeah. And I know if I do a one-to-one and I personally review your profile and your progress, I can look at your own specific strategy going forward from that day. So you may have smashed it in those 6 weeks. That's great. But this is about accountability and then taking it to the next steps and really getting results. So we're going to cover embedding what you've learned, looking at your results so far, building on that to accelerate your success. And you're going to come into a room, small room with your laptop. It's going to be interactive, workshop style, literally focusing on your LinkedIn profile, your business goals, and getting you quick wins. So this is not just like a come and learn. This is absolutely specific to you. And, you know, for me, I just thought this was the perfect kind of, you know, end of the course, because some of you might struggle with online content. Doesn't matter. The day you get in that room with me, I'm going to be focusing on my 3P strategy, which is about presence, making sure that I can improve your profile views, search appearances, growing your network, getting your positioning out there. So literally generating leads, converting connections into clients. The key for me is not just generating the odd client. We want a steady flow so that consistently every day you'll use my techniques just to replicate what I'm doing. Yeah. So if you kind of like the look of my LinkedIn profile and where I'm sitting, then this is the course for you, because We have done maybe like 100 masterclasses. I've delivered over 100 masterclasses since I've used it. This is a brand new course launched today. I'm really proud of it actually, because the 6 weeks, every single module has been developed based on working with clients and all of the pains and challenges they had. So the link is in the group. You will all get an email to join, but word of warning. A couple of questions here. How much is it? Well, it is upfront $997 plus VAT. So basically you save £98 if you pay upfront. But I want to make this super accessible for people. And, you know, if you want to come on the course and you can't afford £83 plus VAT, your business is not in the right place. So it's not the course for you. Okay. So £83 plus VAT, 12 monthly payments. But there is a big but. There's a £99 sign up fee, right? So super accessible. I will never do this payment plan again. So with the launch, this payment plan will never be repeated. So if you want to do the course and you're thinking, oh, I'd like to spread my payments, do it now, okay? You can come on the workshop in March, June, or November. You have access to the course for a year. But if you want the payment plan, do it now. I promise you, this course will never, ever, ever, after the 31st of January, be repeated on an £83 plus VAT payment plan, right? So if it's something you're thinking, I like the sound of it, great. Now this is the bit I'm so excited for. Cannot wait to tell you. If you pay up front, $997, I'm going to give you 100 social media done for you templates, right? So if you struggle with inspiration of what should your content look like, the graphic design, getting it all done, I'm going to give you 100 social media done for you posts covering different categories. They're all split up to different categories based on the different objectives that you'll be posting for. 100 done for you. How mega is that? Like literally. So when I asked for this, we started working and putting them together tail end of last year, and I can't stop smiling because someone's just gone, oh my God. Yes, oh my goodness, you are going to get 100 social media done for you posts. So someone's just said, I'm loving this. Should we connect with and comment on competitors' posts? I wouldn't like competitors' posts, but I would absolutely engage with competitors. Can anyone include video on LinkedIn? Yes, you can. Can I use your social media posts? Yeah. So basically the social media posts, you just adapt your own branding, right? So you can take it out, you can replace the picture. So basically the structure for the objective has all been tested. So we've utilized all these posts, put them out to get high engagement, taken the best ones and put them into ready done templates. Okay, amazing. I heard they had to approve. Oh, okay, so that's about going live. So sometimes if you are posting, say for instance, if you put a graphic on like a social media post, that's fine. And you can put a video on. The ability to go live has been limited, and yes, you can apply for it. We do the applications with clients to make sure that we get your profile to the right point so we can get you accepted. Because if you do your application without your LinkedIn profile and also your activity in the right place, you won't be approved. How do you know where you're ranking? Well, basically, if you, first of all, look at the key indicators, which are your number one, how many contacts have you got? There's a thing called the SSI index. The social selling index is something that we utilize on the 6-week program. So basically, it's a tool that we use to benchmark how your progress is going. So our methodology means that normally within the first couple of weeks, you've got your sort of view from LinkedIn, your social selling index to the absolute max, so that you should be working towards ranking. So one of the modules that we cover, which is about getting you positioned, we will work on getting you in that top 1%. Now that will be different for each person, if you imagine, because everybody is competing in a different niche. So sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's trickier, but there's a specific way of doing it. Can anyone include video? I've done that one. Yes, I love the picture. It's me, you and Steph. Yes. So yes, Tracy, you've done my VIP Academy, so you'll know what our courses are like. And yes, you can rewatch the webinar. So There is so much meaty goodness to absorb in one go. Yes, indeed there is. Now, I want to welcome, we've got 4 of you who have already joined. So we've got Zoe, Bianca, John and Zaida who are signed up. We've got Shah who's going to be joining us. And this is going to be the 6-week program. Now, someone's just said, when does it start? It starts on Monday, the 4th of February, and will run for 6 weeks. Now, the content will be recorded and it's available for 12 months. So don't worry if you can't make it. You really wanted the, what was it here? I really want the social media post. Can I have it on? No, you can't have it on the monthly payment plan. You can only have that bonus on the upfront, but you do get the bonus thrown in on the payment plan for the workshop. So that's absolutely fine. Let's have a look and see what other questions I've got on here. Okay, so in terms of the accelerator course, yes, so someone said the live sessions, are they interactive? Absolutely, 100% interactive. They're just like this basically, but I'm taking you through, and obviously we'll be in smaller sizes. Each of the times that we go through something, you can ask questions, but we'll have a private Facebook group as well. So within the private Facebook group, now any of you who want to know what that looks like, go and join the 5-day challenge and you'll see just how interactive we are as a team. Myself and the team are on hand and literally we will reply to every single question. But the big difference here, and I think this is why with a lot of LinkedIn trainers, I'm quite different because I get to know my clients and also I have a deeper connection whereby I'm looking at your profiles, I'm giving you feedback. The feedback is key because you need a mentor, not just to teach you, but you need to be accountable. I need to be driving you on what I think is actually possible for you and where you need to be. But also very importantly, if I can look at what you've done and I think that maybe it's not working for you, I need to re-gear you and push you back in the right direction. I've got one here. I'm focusing mainly on building profiles for core ambassadors. Could we use one of their profiles? Yeah, absolutely. If you were to do this course, can I use one of their profiles as a basis? Yes, absolutely. So basically, it doesn't have to be about you. So for instance, one of the ladies who's just joined, she is doing it for her client. So she really wants to kind of get her LinkedIn client up there. So she's going to do it for her client and then she's going to template it and use it for herself. So there's no number of people in terms of how many profiles you could work on for this. Once you've learned it, you know, that process is completely applicable to anybody. Someone said here, when do the payment plans end? The £83 plus VAT with the £99 sign-up fee will end on the 31st of January. So that's a week on Friday, yeah? Or until all the spaces are filled. So whichever comes soonest. Now, when that plan goes, I promise you, I'm not one of these people who goes, oh, it's never going to be repeated and it's not coming back ever, right? I did this because I want to make it super accessible. I know that there's people using LinkedIn who've just started a business. I know that there's people who have invested heavily in other programs or other things for the business. I've got one lady who's just invested heavily in a website. So doing something like a payment plan over 12 months means that it's a no-brainer. And the thing is that, you know, £83 a month is not something you're going to miss. You know, if you are going to miss that, then it's not the right time for you to be doing this. But that unfortunately will not be repeated. Someone said, I really want your social media posts. How do they work? Okay, so the social media posts, basically what we've done is we've designed all the posts, put them into categories, and then as soon as you sign up, you'll get your welcome, and then the course starts Monday the 4th. So the beginning of Feb, you'll get your drop of your 100 social media posts. You can use a free tool, for instance, like Canva, to edit these. You don't have to be a graphic designer, and you just click on the element and you replace it, and you can click to change the colors. But these are basically all constructed. So we've got ones that have got diagrams in. We've got ones that have got like checklists. So they've got different content. So the biggest thing that this will do for you is it gives you the actual basis, the foundation. So it gives you the inspiration. So we have ones that are set up for quotes. We have ones that are set up for promotions, for things like selling products and services, or promoting an event like a masterclass sort of thing, like free things. We have ones that you can use for like promoting podcasts. We've got ones that you can utilize to educate. So you can put stats and facts on. You can do comparison ones. You can show steps of something. And these are all redone. So you just literally take you maybe 60 seconds to kind of complete everything, go from there. Let's have a look. Dawn, Monday the 3rd. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're indeed right. Monday the 3rd. I don't know what day of the week it is. Yes, Monday the 3rd of February. So Monday the 3rd of February, everything will come out. In terms of access. So say, for instance, you can't join that live masterclass, then you just basically go back into your online learning portal and you'll see the different modules, and then you can access it. Within the Facebook group, then obviously we'll do live Q&As and questions and things like that. And that's where, when you are implementing things that you've learned from the course, you've got me for feedback. Someone said, will it be you on the one day? Yes, absolutely. It'll be me in person, small group of you, the one-to-ones. Yeah, they'll be happening on that day. So basically what happens is I do kind of like a review of where you're all at, give you some quick tips based on anything that I've seen on your posts, anything that I think will work, give you a strategy each for going forward, because you'll all be at slightly different stages. And again, some of you are using your own profiles versus obviously, you know, if you work for a business, you might be using like your directors or whatever. Next question, let me have a look here. Got one come through on chat. Am I running the program later this year? The program will run, but the offer won't. Okay, so this is really important, just so you absolutely understand, right? At the end of January, you will be able to do the program, obviously going forward, but the difference is, up until the 31st of Jan, you will pay $997 upfront, and then you'll get the bonus, which is the one-to-one with me, and the one-day implementation strategy workshop, and you choose your date, whether you want March, June, or November. And you'll also get your 100 social media done for yous, all included, bonuses, yeah? Won't be available after the 31st of Jan is the monthly payments. £83 plus VAT. So even if you want to start it in March, do it now, because then you can come on the workshop, say like in June or November. Okay, so that you don't have to kind of just decide like on Monday the 3rd that you're going to get it on board and do it then. I'd love it if obviously you just got on board and did the 6 weeks straight away. If you want to take advantage of this, it will not, and I mean this 100%, you will not be able to do an £83 plus VAT payment plan again. So on the 31st that ends, the only thing you don't get with that is you don't get the social media planner templates, okay? So that's not there, but you do get the one-to-one with the payment plan, and you do get the one-day implementation workshop, yeah? So these offers are only available to 31st of Jan. So if you do the upfront payment, remember $997 plus VAT, and then it'll go to, on the first day of February, it will be $1497, and it will never, ever go back. We're not an academy that suddenly kind of does a reduction. This is because it's a new program, it's launching. We've done it as part of a challenge, and we would love you to come and join us. And in the month of January, we've given you some extra bonuses for that launch. But no, I'm afraid it will not ever, ever be repeated. Thanks for pointing out that Monday is the 3rd, indeed. And then what else have we got on here? Let me just answer all your questions. I'm just scrolling through the Facebook. Where can you rank? Where is it possible to rank in search appearances? Well, in one of the modules, as I said, what we do is we make sure that for your industry, so for digital marketing, I want to rank #1 for digital globally. So we look at your niche, and then we start getting you from wherever you're currently ranking in the world, and we start pushing you up so that we get you into that top 1%. Now, there's a methodology behind it, as with anything, but we'll take you through that and make sure that we look at your niche, because as I say, it'll be different for each person. Okay, let's have a look and see what we've got on the question side. Answered that. Right, let's just go onto the chat. Okay, so in terms of, oh, where is the link? Okay, the link is available. If you guys are in the 5-day challenge, it is there. I'll also post it on LinkedIn and also on my profile. If for any reason you've got questions and you don't want to put them publicly, just go on to the challenge, for instance, and just put #call got questions, let us know. Okay, so in terms of next steps for you guys, once you're signed up, you will get a confirmation email, you'll get a VAT invoice, and we will welcome you onto the course. There'll be an induction that's available and everything to start straight away. And then obviously on that Monday, the 3rd of February, you will be actually starting your first of your 6-week modules. The 100 social media posts, how are they sent to me? They're basically sent an email in a link, and then you can click on the link and access them. Once you've got those, you can add them into something like Canva, and then you can edit them straight away. There's also, with the social media posts, just to point out the templates, there's a mini training. So if you've never used something like Canva before, there's a quick sort of 10-minute video of how to customize them and make them your own, how to download them, and then use them in your social media. So you can build up a library. Can you put them in your own brand colors? Got very specific corporate branding? Yes, you can, indeedy. What happens basically is once you've got them, you can customize them. You just put in the actual color coding, and it will match the color identical to your brand colors. And then it means that you're totally on brand and ready to go. So for you guys who've got questions, please let me know. You guys are more than welcome to call our team 0800 334 5784. You can email us inquiries at digitalandsocialmediaacademy.com. You can connect with me, ask us questions. The thing is with this is that it has to be right for you. And, you know, this is about, yes, there's an amazing offer. If you just want to talk through which one's the best offer for you, not a problem. But when the places are gone, because one of the things that we won't do is that we won't go over capacity on the workshops, then this offer may end sooner than the 31st. Basically, just because if I'm doing one-to-ones, there's going to be a capacity. Let's see how many we've got so far. Let me just see what, Amber, can you just tell me how many we've got? Okay, so we've got 12 currently. Okay, so if we keep going at that pace, then you're probably looking maybe like Friday. But, you know, if you want to check if there's spaces, just get in touch with the team. They'll let you know. How do you sign up? You can sign up using the link. If you want to go and find the course from Google, just type in LinkedIn, Masterclass, Business Consort, and it's there. You'll see it, Get Clients from LinkedIn course. Click on it, choose the option, add it. Can you pay by invoice? Indeed, you can. Again, just get in touch with our team and let them know, and they'll send the invoice. It just needs to be paid before the offer ends. So thank you so much for joining. What an epic webinar we have had. And I have loved the questions. Now, if you guys are still on the challenge, then I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be available for questions. So feel free, for anyone who's not connected on LinkedIn, connect with me, Dawn McGrewer, and I will accept your connection request. And you can always chat to me through there, or if we're connected on Facebook or within Indeed the challenge, that will be fine. So have an amazing day, and any questions, please let me know. So take care, everyone. Bye now.